right, we are live. Sorry about the delay. I actually, my computer camera was not allowing me to connect to the computer camera. It kept connecting to another camera that I use if I'm doing video stuff. So I had to turn off my computer and reset and everything, but now it seems to be working. Hopefully, you guys can see me well. I'm actually in my new apartment, different setup. The lighting is not the greatest right now. I do have a huge ring light, but I was hoping the light behind me would be good enough. Actually, let me turn this light on. Let's see, where is the light at? It's over here. Okay. Oh, anyway, that did not do any justice. So, if you guys are here watching this, you tuned in to hear about my horrible living conditions and things that have been happening to me between the two flats that I had previously lived in when I first moved to Portugal. So, for those of you that are watching, definitely let me know where you are tuning into. Definitely say hi, and I would definitely say hi back. Hi, Jan Wig. Where are you watching from? Curious to know. So, for those of you that are the first time watching one of my lives or tuning into my YouTube channel, my name is Heather Courtney. I have been living in Lisbon since August of 2021. I moved from Mexico with my teenager daughter, Mackenzie, and Portugal has been really good to us. I'm not going to lie. You know, the quality of life, the safety, just navigating things just make more sense. The cost of living is more affordable than the US. And I don't know when we're going to leave Portugal, but for right now, Portugal is going to be home. Oh, hi. Okay, you're in Ohio. I had some friends and family from Ohio. So that's very interesting. Hopefully, your Monday or Tuesday is going very well. All right. So when you do your D7 visa, which is a visa that you apply for to come over to stay in Portugal. Hi, Connie. My mom said that you guys spoke, I think, the other day. I hope you are enjoying the hot weather in Merida. This is where I used to live before. And I actually met Connie at the Walmart with my mom. And my mom and her were talking. And then Connie's son and I were just like, are y'all done? We ready to go? We didn't sign up for this. You know how parents are when like they say they're going to do one thing and then like they're in the shopping center for like super long. So back to what I was saying. So we moved to Portugal and you have to have a D7 visa. And if you're applying for a temporary residency. And one of the requirements was for you to have lodging. Now, each consul is different. I was zoned for DC, so I did my application through there. And I used Flatio, which is a website where you can book long-term and short-term accommodations. And that's what I did. So I could not really find a lot of places that would take dogs. So dogs and cats. And I ended up finding a place that did. So we get to Portugal on my birthday, August 27th, 2021. And we get to the apartment, and the lady's there with like some other people. They're like workers. And she's saying, sorry, I had to replace the couch because the people that were in there before, some people from Denmark, had ruined her flat, the flat that I'm moving into that I already paid for. So they had like slashed up her couch. They had chipped like chip marks out the wall. They had burn marks everywhere. They cracked one of the tiles on the floor in the kitchen. And they broke one of the glasses, like the glass shelving inside of the refrigerator. So I'm just like, okay, cool. So we move into the place in Peña de França. And, you know, everything's okay, cool, you know, but there are things that are like wrong with this apartment. First off, the refrigerator, it's leaking, you know, inside the refrigerator. So the inside of the refrigerator, it has like, you know, the cooling in the back is normally like where the cooling stuff is at, but it would start to freeze and then unthaw, and then it would just drain inside the bottom trays in the refrigerator. And I remember, you know, reaching out to Lee. I'm like, hey, you know, this isn't normal. And she tried to assure me like, yes, these are how refrigerators work in Europe. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe because I've never lived in Europe before, maybe she could be possibly right, but I really don't believe that it's supposed to be, you know, leaking into the refrigerator. So that was one of the issues I had. One of the other issues at that apartment was the shower. It had like a handle piece and it was like broken. So we couldn't shower properly, So that was another issue. And then the bed in Mackenzie's room was an issue too, because she was laying in it one night and she fell through the bed because the boards broke underneath it. So the lady was like really fast about trying to get things repaired, minus the refrigerator, because that was like a back and forth conversation for a few weeks, and ultimately the refrigerator was not even fixed by the time that we left. So how in Lisbon, or I guess in Europe you say, the flooring is a little bit different. The bottom floor in the US would normally be like the first floor, second floor, third floor, fourth floor. However, in Portugal, the bottom floor is called the RC, and then the floor above it, which would technically be the second floor in America, will be the first floor. So the first floor can be lower to the street, it could be higher to the street. If the street is on a slant, it really all depends on how the setup is of that building. So we were on the first floor, and it was high enough off the ground where people could not walk by and like look in. People couldn't like jump up, nothing like that. So one night, this was in September. This was like maybe 3 weeks or so, 4 weeks after we arrived. Um, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I heard like a loud scream, like a thud and like a scream. So I get up, I'm racing because the rooms are right next to each other. And Mackenzie comes like rushing out. I'm just like, what is going on? She's like, some guy was crawling through her window. And when she screamed, she startled him. So I was completely freaked out. Now you're asking, how did he get through the window? So at nighttime, it was hot. And because we were so high up above the street level, you know, I would open up the windows a little bit, maybe bad idea, super bad idea. So I closed the window and when like I'm trying to calm her down and everything. I'm already like freaked out and in shock. I did not call the police because in my head, I'm just like, I just got here. I don't know Portuguese. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. By the time the police get here, the guy's going to be gone. So the next day, which is like a few hours later, I, text my community and I tell them like, hey, this is what happened. They're super supportive. They're trying to like help me out. I go outside and I see some of Mackenzie's things that were in her room. They are outside. Hi, Market Focus. I don't know your name, your real name, but where are you watching from? And I see some of the items like her Nintendo Switch case was outside. Some other things that were in her room were outside the window. When I looked to see like were there any trash cans, like anything that this person could have, hopped up on, there was nothing there, like nothing. Like this person who was doing this, that did this, had to have done it before, professional, did some type of trick or whatever, because there's no way that they could have just walked by and got in the window. So at this point, my kid's traumatized. We ended up going to a police station. They were honestly no help because there's a police station close to Peña de França in the parish, and we went there, and they were just like, "No, you need to go to the tourism one, even though we're not tourists here. We're here on a visa." So we went over to that one, and they just were like, "Why did you call the police?" Blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, "Listen, we just got here a few weeks ago. I don't know Portuguese. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I honestly did not think you guys. By the time you guys came, I don't think you guys would have even caught the person at all." So that was I ended up leaving because they told me to wait, and we waited for like 2 hours outside and no one came. So, my community, my amazing Lisbon Mountain Collective community came through, so I had to move out. I did not feel safe. My daughter did not feel safe at all or anything. So, the community came, people came and got my plants, people came and got, some of our clothes, items that I was buying because we were, about to move into a long-term flat. That's what happened. They helped me move. So at this point, I moved us into a hotel. And during that time, I was getting ready to move into the apartment that I just moved out of. However, there was a delay. The delay was ridiculous. I was supposed to be Moved in like a week later, so we moved into a hotel, which I don't even think the hotel knew we had animals because my animals are so quiet, literally so quiet. So 1 week turned into 2 weeks, turned into 3 weeks, turned into almost a month, hopping around hotels. It was horrible. I spent so much money paying for hotels, having to eat out every day, being in small accommodations. Also, during that time, I was in film school, so I had to film. I had to use people's houses to film in, excuse me, because I did not have the space I needed to do the filming that I was supposed to do. So, with the new place, it was just like always a delay for something. Oh, the electricity people didn't come, or the water people didn't come, or they didn't do the inspection. So pretty much, I moved literally right up the street in Peña de França, and because I really loved the neighborhood was great. It was convenient. Everything was local. So the building I moved into was a renovated building. There were 10 apartments in that building. So at this point, this is the end of October, that I finally move into my dream, or what I thought was my dream apartment flat that I probably was not going to move out of anytime soon. It was nice. It was brand new appliances. No one had lived in there. The layout was nice. It had 3 bedrooms, and it was good. It was good. It was good. So I moved in finally. We had like 6 luggages, plus all my film equipment stuff, and 2 animals. One of the reasons why I moved into that building was because there was an elevator. Living with autoimmune issues, having chronic pain daily, and never knowing like when I wake up if I'm going to feel good. Some days when I'm out, my feet hurt. And it's not like my feet are like I'm tired, just like the bone and like everything else hurts. So I wanted an elevator because I didn't want to have to go up and down the stairs. And the floor that I moved into was the third floor, which is technically the fourth floor in America. So imagine having to walk up 4 flights of stairs, like a spiral staircase. So they kept saying that, oh, the elevator is going to work. They're just waiting for it to be inspected, blah, 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 blah. So here I am walking up 75 steps each way. I counted numerous times. It is 75 steps. And it was just really, really annoying. So when we first moved in, what happened? I was trying to cook, trying to cook and run the dishwasher, and the power went out. Here I am, brand new apartment, and the power goes out. I open up the switchboard, and none of the switches are, opposite direction. Nothing was blown inside the apartment. So I'm calling my amazing realtor. I'm like, Fernando, there's no lights at all. So he calls a guy that lives in the neighborhood, Jose, and Jose comes over. He's expecting everything. And then he's just like, okay, if this happens, then go all the way down to the first floor, which is the RC, and hit the reset button. So that's what I had to do. I had to like unscrew this plastic case in front of it and unscrew it. Press the reset button for 3 seconds, climb back up 75 steps, and do what I was going to do. So on that same night, maybe the next day, I was like, okay, let me do some laundry. Maybe it was the same night. And there was a brand new water tank heater. It was a double-sided water tank heater. And because when they installed it, I guess like when you install new stuff in a place, there's like a second step you have to do to make sure like it's fully connected, or like unscrew things and make sure like it's connected, but that wasn't. So water was just like pouring out of this hot water tank. And I had to secure the water because it was just everywhere. So I believe the next day, someone came and fixed that. So in between the electricity going out and the water, this was my main start with this apartment in Peña de França. So I love to cook, y'all. If you watch my Instagram, Heather's Amazing Journey, you will see like I'm always cooking. Like I just cooked some lemon garlic chicken with rice and green beans tonight. Last night I made a loaded baked potato soup. So I need to cook. Like I just love to cook. And unfortunately, I can only use one burner. If I used another burner, if I plugged in anything else, my electricity would blow and I would have to go all the way downstairs and hit the button to reset. So one of my friends, Sin, was telling me something like that happened to her when they moved into their flat, and she just called the electric company and had them up the KVW or KVA, what it's called here, how much electricity that you can get. So here in Portugal, it's different than the US. The US, you get whatever, like whatever you use, whatever you use. But in here in Portugal, it's like you can have up to, you can still have as much as you want, but if you go over that amount, it's too much power going into that apartment. So that's what was happening to me. I had the lowest amount, which is like 3.5 kVA, and most people have like 6.7, 10.0. Um, and I didn't have that. So at the time, my landlord was still paying the electric bill. So I said, okay, I know I have to get the electric in my name. This is like November now. So I went and changed companies and they asked me, well, how much electricity do you want? And I said, I want at least 6.8. So I did that, did all the paperwork, waiting. Everything's super slow here in Portugal. And hi, Martian from Northern California. I get a message on my phone from Galp, which is one of the electrical companies, and they say, "Hey, sorry, but you can't get your 6.89 because you are only qualified to have 3.5." So I'm calling my realtor again. I'm like, "Fernando, what? I can't cook. I can't do nothing." So from October of 2021 up until last week when I moved, this has been my reality with electricity. Constantly going off, constantly going off. Several months ago, because there are so many issues in this building, I'm helping build a case against the contractors that did all this like shady stuff, which is more I'm going to get into. I just suffered. I couldn't cook. I could only cook one thing at a time. And, I cook a lot. So cooking just took even longer than what I really wanted it to be. So the electricity was an issue. Come to find out, when we went to, I think it's called Reddish, here I went with my realtor and we got a printout of what the electricity is for all 10 units. Crazily, all 10 units have different capacities. No one has the same capacity. And I'm one of the ones that just has the lowest capacity. The RC on the bottom floor, they have 10 point whatever, but other units have the 6.8, and some only have the 3.5. So clearly, someone did not do their job properly to make sure that the building was perfectly wired. And the reason why you need at least 6 is because these are new appliances. The 3.5 will be good for older buildings that don't have newer appliances, that don't pull a lot of electricity. So I dealt with that. Another thing that I had to deal with was the elevator. The elevator, months and months went by. Elevator still does not work at all. Like, it's there. I can see it outside my window. It's there, but it does not work. So we had this group chat for the building. There's a group chat for owners and there's a group chat for people that are renting. But one of the women that kind of sort of lives in one of her units, she created a group chat so everyone can know each other and all that other stuff, which I honestly didn't particularly care for her, because when I first met her, I was just like, yes, hey, veteran, just moved here from Mexico, from Jersey, have a daughter. Like, she literally put this information in a group chat. I feel like I would not have done that. I don't know who any of these people are in the group chat. And here you are telling my business, letting them know that I am alone with the child. Like, why would you even do that? So I kept my contact with her very minimum. She was from California, white woman from California. And with the group chat, she was honestly just trying to be helpful, trying to get people to know each other. So other people were having like the same issues, and she was, kind of trying to keep us updated about, okay, well, since there's 10 units, there's at least 6, there's like, I think 8 different buyers in this building. There's no HOA, nobody's on the same page. Some of the owners are like, as soon as I get a person in there, they don't care about anything that happens in the building. So because it's one building, like, everyone has to agree on things. One of the things that was not agreed upon was who's going to clean the building. The building was filthy. At one point, I've helped clean the building twice. I shouldn't have to clean a building. There should be someone cleaning it, hired to clean it. That was one of the other issues. Another issue that with the building was that our electricity was cut off because nobody paid the bills. There were bills that were coming to the bottom. There's like a window which is like random mail in it, and nobody was opening up the random mail because why would they? It's just random mail. So they turned the lights off. Electricity was like, "We're tired of you not paying this bill." They turned the electricity off. Our emergency lights were off and everything. I think they're only good for like 24 hours before like they drain. And I remember contacting my landlord. I'm just like, "This is crazy." That yes, it is a lot, Jay, mindful. That this is a hazard. The electrical, the emergency lights are not even on. They drained out and it's pitch black. And how the ladder well is, which is I guess a staircase, it spirals. It like spirals up like this. I said someone can fall, hurt, and die. So in the group chat, everyone was like, okay, well, let's pitch in to pay the bill. And I was just like, look, if I pitch in, this is coming out of my rent money. I am not putting my own money in because this building should have an HOA. So the woman that lives in the building but comes back and forth, the California woman, she and her flatmate ended up paying the bill. So cool. Our electricity was restored. Then several months, this was like a few months ago, they were doing work outside on one of the pipes or the corners or whatever, and a pipe broke, and they were trying to say that it's our responsibility, like the building that I'm in, responsibility to fix it, or they were going to cut off the water. And we had like 20 days to figure it out. And it was crazy because no one, us as tenants, we're not responsible for that. It's the people that own the building, and people that own the apartments need to figure out like, okay, who's going to pay to get this pipe fixed? So the California woman, her flatmate, they went out there and talked and they made phone calls, and come to find out that it was not our responsibility to fix the pipe. So we ended up not getting our water turned off. Also, when I moved in, new building, I wanted to get Vodafone because my phone was Vodafone. And unfortunately, I could not get Vodafone. Vodafone told me that they would not put service in there because there's not enough people that wanted Vodafone. So I ended up having a hotspot for 6 months because along with people not wanting Vodafone in the building, which I don't know how they would know that because when I moved in, it was only two people living in the building, me and the California woman. They disconnected the lines to the street. So whatever electrical power lines, that's for cable, internet, everything, they disconnected that, and it could not be connected at all. Like no internet could be there. So 6 months, I had a hotspot. Every 30 days, I had to go refill that hotspot. Super annoying. And also with that hotspot, you can only have 5 people attached to it. So if you have like the computer, the phone, the printer, like you couldn't have more than 5. So that was super, super, super annoying. But eventually Nosh came through and I ended up getting internet through Nosh. So we talked about the internet, we talked about the electricity going out, we talked about the group chat, and we talked about the elevator. So another issue I had, these people that moved in above me finally. The worst, 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 worst people ever. They're from Denmark, and it was a brother and sister, and they were so entitled. Like literally, they would literally have Maxwell speaker music blasting, like it's a whole concert. And in the group chat, I was like, hey, can you, whoever's blasting music, can you turn it down? And they would just be like, oh, it's not us. I'm just like, and I'll send them a video because I record everything. If you don't have a video, it didn't happen, right? So then they would be like, oh yeah, that was us. We're just lounging right now. If you don't like loudness, then maybe you should move out of a building because this is normal. And I'm like, I'm from the city. I know what's normal and what's not normal. The noise, people walking up and down the street, people talking, that is normal. But you blasting music purposely is crazy. So we had back and forth exchanges or whatever. And I particularly didn't care for them. What I didn't like in the group chat is that nobody would really complain except for me. Now, I'm the only Black person that lives in the building. And I remember talking to the California woman. I'm just like, hey, they're being so loud. Like it's affecting my sleep. They're having parties. People are drunk going up and down. And you know what this woman said to me? She was like, yeah, don't go knocking on your door if you don't want to get shot, And I'm just like, and she said like these words to me more than one occasion. I'm just like, first off, that's very traumatic with the climate that's going on in the US right now. And you, as a white woman, saying this to a Black person, don't knock on their door if you don't want to get shot. Like, that's very insensitive and really, messed up. And so clearly why I've kept my distance from this woman. So this was months and months and months of me not getting sleep, Mackenzie not getting sleep. My mental health was completely affected. And I was just like, oh my God, enough is enough. So on top of that, she had a brother that for some reason, maybe in elementary school, middle school, high school, he missed the chance to play instruments. And he decided that he was going to play instruments 7 days a week. Okay, it was like 5 days a week, but it was literally for hours. And he was playing the saxophone and the piano. Now, I will say the piano, he has some good tunes. He was doing his little thing, but that saxophone playing the same bars, do, re, mi, over and over and over again for hours, all day. I'm at home all day. I don't work. I go out sometimes, but I come back. But most of the time, I'm at my house. So it was so annoying. So I ended up talking to the people on the fifth floor, which is like above me and below them. And then they were saying that they've complained, they talked to them. The woman from California, she was like, they talked to them and they agreed that they would only play for 2 hours a day or something like that. Um, but no, they didn't. It was just horrible, horrible, horrible. So I ended up calling the police. I went to the police station with my amazing realtor, Fernando, and I was explaining the situation. I was like, my mental health is being affected. I'm waking up with like my heart pacing and everything because they're blasting music. They're being loud. They're having offbeat sex. I don't know what type of sex that is that they was having, but it was not on beat. And it was like Mackenzie was asking questions. And I was just like, well, maybe they're having a pillow fight. I'm trying to keep my daughter's innocence for as long as I can. But it's the fact like it was, oh man, I used to play the flute too. No, the saxophone is the worst. So we went to police station, and they're like, okay, well, this is the number, call them. And that's what I did one night. I decided that I was gonna call them. But just so happened the night I called them was the night Lisbon was flooding. So nobody could come out. So I had to suffer even more. So on top of them being complete jerk offs, the people below me, I found out maybe a few weeks ago. It's a company called like Teleperformance. They're like all over Lisbon, and they rent out apartments for like I guess people that are coming or whatever. So there's different people in there all the time. So they were having parties, like parties, crazy parties. Again, being loud. I was the only person complaining in the group chat. And I feel like nobody blinked an eye. Like I don't get it. So me and the people above me had got into another group chat again, and this girl was just like, I thought she was like, you're not supposed to have dogs in this building anyway. And first off, y'all see my dog? My dog is like, he's so small. And Elaine came through. Oh, I shouldn't have said her name, but the girl from California had came through, and she was just like, for your information, yes, she can have a dog. There are multiple people in the building that have dogs, like big dogs. So she shut up really quick, but she was just like, go live in the country, blah, 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 blah. They're entitled because they paid bills. And it was just really annoying. I was so glad to see them leaving. The apartment above the fifth floor above them had talked to them again, and they're like, well, they're moving out. So thankfully they moved out. And I watched her brother and that saxophone leave. And it was all good. So the tenants from hell, or my apartment neighbors from hell, which after they left, like I was able to get a peaceful night's sleep. Mackenzie was able to sleep. It was good. So let's talk about the bottom floor, the RC unit. So how the building is set up in many Portuguese neighborhoods, like traditional neighborhoods, the bottom floors sometimes are shops. So you have like shops all right next to each other. So in my building, it was the building you walk in is like the foyer area, and then there was a door that went into a shop that faced the street. So nobody was in there. I always see like the contractors in there like doing maintenance or whatever. I know what they was doing in there. So these people moved in, It was a Asian husband and wife, maybe. I don't know. I don't know where exactly, what part of Asia, but they look like they were of Asian descent. I should say, and everything was good, until I started seeing like random people coming in and out of that place. It was like a lot of people. I'm just like, what is going on there? Because that's not an apartment. That's a shop. Because if you walk around to the front, that is a shop. That's not a living place. So I think that they were running like not a refugee center, like when people come from other countries and they like have nowhere to go, or they need like that first landing point. I think that's what that was. That's what they were running out of there, because it was too many people coming in and out, people I've never seen. They were leaving the front door open, they were never closing it. On top of that, it smelled like a banging ass Asian restaurant, like different parts of Asia, the spices, the food. I mean, it was really strong. I lived on the fourth floor, which is the third floor, which is like the fourth floor. And I mean, the flavors were just like so intense and rich. And hey, Sharad. And I know they was cooking for multiple people. They were cooking for multiple people. So it was kind of annoying me, because I understand like everyone has different situations. We all come from different walks of life. But for me, I'm paying rent. I don't want to live in a building where the door is being left open all the time. Random people are coming like in and out, in and out, in and out. Or they're like, there's a park across the street from my house. So they would literally just like hang out at the park all day. Like I would see them, they just hang out at the park all day. And then maybe like a week or two would pass, I wouldn't see those same people. And then a new set of people would come in. So because it was a storefront, they never had the storefront doors open that face the street. They would keep that other door open sometimes that was inside the building. So one day I was minding my business outside with Bandit, and I see them bringing in like bunk beds, like the stuff to make bunk beds or whatever. And I'm just like, what is going on? They're bringing more people in here. So they was bringing bunk beds, and then the people from the fifth floor had sent me a message. I think I was traveling or something. They had sent me pictures of beds, like more beds that they were putting in there. And I'm just like, they're definitely running something illegal in there, because there's no way all those people could live in there. Like sometimes there were kids in there, older people, middle-aged people. It was just a lot going on. And so the California woman had like talked to them, and she put a sign on the door about keeping the door closed. And it looked like it was written in Thai. I don't know if Thai is the language as far as like when you're typing it. Um, it looked like the language I've seen when I was in Thailand. But it still didn't work. So they was leaving the door open. There was issues with that. The extensive amount of food. I mean, it did smell good, not gonna lie, but sometimes it also smelled like grease. And I would see people bring like bags of chicken. Like it wasn't chicken that was prepackaged. It was like a bag of chicken parts. So I can see it. So let's talk about the front door. If you put your key in and you turned the door and you took your key out, the door would not close at all. You literally had to turn the key, open the door, turn it back, and pull it out. So that was another issue I had with the door not closing. So I, would go out sometimes, and 6 o'clock in the morning, door wide open. Coming home from the club, door wide open. And this was just like an issue and a security issue for me. Like I didn't feel as safe as I wanted to be in a place that, I rest my head at night, a place where my daughter's at. So that was the issue. So let's see, what else didn't I talk about? The mold and my plants dying. My first few months there. So I came in October. So this probably happened around November, December of 2021. In my living room, the paint just started peeling from the wall. In one area just started peeling. It was like bubbly and peeling. So my landlord, who is Turkish, that lives in Dubai, sent an engineer from Dubai to my house to inspect, to see what was going on. So the guy came. He was good looking. He had some chest hair going on. Not a fan of chest hair. Very good looking guy from Dubai. And he was saying that the paint they used on the walls was not the right type of paint, that like humidity proof paint or whatever. So that was an issue. Also, underneath another wall, you could see like mold growing, like trying to come through the wall, So that was annoying. I also had mold in like the crevices of the wall. So I would get bleach and I would get my little spray bottle and, bleach it down. Like the mold would be gone for like a few weeks. In my bathroom, the paint was bubbling. Like I'll get like pockets of moisture where they would get like puffy, like different, like it was just a mess. So that was an issue in my bathroom. Also my bathroom mold as well, around the windowsill and like where the shower was. Okay, Charlotte said, I was about to ask you, is that where you are? Like a piece of tranquility servicing that your apartment building? Like is Peace and Tranquility servicing you there? Yes. So the building I'm in now is super, super amazing. I would definitely get into that after I finish telling the story. Um, so that was another issue. And then the third bedroom, my office, mold too. So I kind of knew about the mold being an issue here in Portugal, but not the paint puffing, not mold coming through to that extent, and the paint chipping. Um, so the first year, I'm a plant person, I have a whole bunch of plants. The first year it was fine. My plants did get mold on them, but of course I sprinkled cinnamon and it got through. Man, that second year came when we had all that rain back in 2022. My plants were dying like left and right. I couldn't revive them. I think I went from like 20 plants down to 12 plants. It was just really bad. So I was I was just like over at this point, and it was like enough was enough. So much was going on, and I just couldn't handle it anymore. So I knew that I was going to move by the end of this year. That was the goal, to move by the end of this year. And well, originally the goal was to stay and then extend for a few months until Mackenzie finished school. And then I was going to buy somewhere in Portugal. But then I was just like, I don't know if I'm going to stay here this long. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll stay to the end of the year and I'll be good. Tell me why in Portugal, like you can raise the rent or whatever. And my landlord decided he was going to raise my rent. And I was just like, I'm not paying no more than what I'm paying right now. You expect me to have to buy dehumidifiers, which are super expensive. Those tabs are $6 each. I have to put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rooms, and they're $6 each. And they don't last 30 days. They're lasting like 15 days. And I have electricity issues, which I have all these issues. And you expect me to pay more money to you? No, definitely not. Definitely not. So I politely declined and said, I'm not paying that. I'm not paying any more money to you besides what I was paying, which was 1,400 euros for a 3-bedroom. And I was like, you know what? I'm also going to move out too. So here he comes back. Oh no, don't move out. I'll buy this. I'll do that. You're a great tenant. I'm like, so you saw me suffering for 2 years, almost 2 years, and you have never offered nothing, like nothing at all. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I am gonna call my amazing realtor and he's gonna help me find a place. So he said, let's wait till I needed to be out by the end of May. May 30th was like the day I was supposed to be out. I didn't pay rent for 2 months because I gave 2 months security deposit when I moved in. So I stopped paying rent in March. So Fernando was like, okay, end of April, beginning of May, we'll find you a place. We'll start looking. I'm like, cool. He said, what do you want? I said, I want a big balcony because my friend Kwahia got a big old balcony. I said, I don't want anything on the first floor. It must have an elevator. And what was the other thing I said? Close to the metro, because even though I was close enough to 3 different metro stations, Andros, Independent, and Oeish, it was just like the hills and Peña de França that I did not like. So I was cabbing it every time I came back home. I took a cab if the bus wasn't available. So, balcony, close to the metro, elevator. Yeah, to cover those flights for handyman from Dubai. I know, right? You couldn't find a Portuguese man. And space and electricity that worked, working electricity. Like, I need to see the bill. So we started looking. First place I looked at, first two spots I looked at, beautiful place, Avenue Novish, and brand new. The guy, another rich foreign guy, bought an apartment for his aunt never moved in, and it's just sitting there. Write a letter explaining I'm a disabled veteran. I don't work because I get my pension, blah, 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 blah. I have my dog. I'm not going to get rid of my dog because he is my emotional support dog. He is, you know? So the guy declined my offer because he said that he didn't want anyone living in his apartment that has mental issues. And I'm just like, but why? You know, I asked why. Why would he think that? He's like, oh, because you were in the military, you've been to Iraq. I'm just like, I've never been to Iraq a day in my life. I've been to the Persian Gulf, the Seventh Fleet, the Fifth Fleet, Japan, you know, FDNF, but I've never been to Iraq, Afghanistan. Yes, we provided ground support for troops on the ground, and air support, but no. So I was like, okay, whatever. It really hurt my feelings, you know, as a veteran, you know, we do have PTSD, we do have things that we go through, you know, traumatic experiences. And for someone just to say, "Oh no, because you went to a certain country or this and that," it's like it's hurtful, you know? So that didn't work out. It was a nice building, but anyway, it was like $2,000. So I kept looking. Either places were outdated, I didn't like them, the elevator was old, it wasn't anything I was looking for, I didn't have a balcony. Um, so 1 week rolled into 2 weeks, rolled into 3 weeks, rolled into 5 weeks, rolled into 6 weeks. Like, I was literally putting in offers, people were outbidding me, um, you know, by $200-300, or the people that the owners only wanted to rent to Portuguese people and not foreigners because they felt that, or some felt that, oh, well, foreigner is just going to be here for like 2 years and leave, but a local will be here for years, you know, which I can understand that, but you know, but still, you know, first come, first serve. If, you know, we fit the bill and, you know, so I finally found, a place. So I look at this place. It's under $2,000, which is perfect because I wasn't trying to pay 2,000 euros anyway. 2 bedroom, which sucks because I didn't want a two. I wanted a 3 bedroom. Close to the metro. I have a huge balcony. I have an elevator. I have technically 3 elevators, and and I don't. I don't. I think it was just like the person, that actual person, that did that because I did not have that experience when I was looking for flats last time, you know? So it's just an unfortunate situation, and some people are just jerks, you know? Um, no, I'm talking about here in Portugal. This was my experience. I'm talking about Portugal, Jan. So I found a place. Took me 6 weeks to find a place. Beautiful building, security, everything. I even have a trash chute. Like, I go outside my door, there's a door, and I put my trash in it, like, literally. And then someone, like, if you have recyclables, someone like comes up and they like get your trash. So I found everything that I wanted, I was looking for in the very beginning. I was able to find it in this apartment within Lisbon, and for less than what I was paying, what people were trying to charge me. So in between all this, I'm just like, okay, well, June is here now because, you know, I went to Atlanta. I still had not moved. And Mackenzie's cat is like acting up on my bed. And I was like, okay, I got back from Atlanta. I was home for a day, and the next day I had to move. I started to prepare for the move prior to going to Atlanta. I was doing like little things, downsizing. The people came and they weren't prepared with boxes or anything. The owner said that he didn't know that I needed boxes to move. And I'm just like, I asked you to, hold on one second. I asked you to unpack. Come here. I think she's like trying to get out of here. Mackenzie's cat. I was like, I asked you to pack and unpack me, you know? So they ended up having to get boxes and they moved me, but I think they were really pissed, the people. Can you get your cat? She's right there. Sorry. She just went underneath my cover. Um, so they were really pissed because they wasn't trying to walk up those 75 steps, like literally 75 steps. And then I'll take it off. Um, and in my building that I'm in right now, like even though I have three elevators, it's kind of like a far walk in between the two sets of elevators because it's two buildings. And they were just like really annoyed. And the owner told me that they were like really upset because it was a lot of walking. I'm like, well, y'all are movers. So I feel bad, but at the same time, I got moved. Um, and now I am in my new apartment. I know I kind of went from like the hell apartments to a good apartment. But yeah, so that has been my experience. Like I'm trying to think of if I missed anything from the other apartment, but literally like I feel at peace right now. My mental health has like elevated. Now I'm sleeping with my windows open, like the curtains open. Before I was sleeping with them closed all day, and I'm just like really really happy. I think that if you are coming to live in Lisbon or Portugal, some of my takeaways for you are to ask for the electricity bill, see what the electricity bill is looking like. Not only um yes, they did take apart my furniture and reassemble it, like that was what I asked for, and they did a good job too. Ask for the utility bill. Look to see what the KVA is. Is it KVA or KVW? Is see how much the bill is per month. My last bill before I moved was like 34 euros for electricity. Um, Also, if there's neighbors, talk to the neighbors. Visit the house wherever you're moving, like at nighttime. Highly recommend that. Also, check for mold too. I mean, mold is kind of like you can't really avoid it here, but excessive mold is what you want to look for. Also, one of the things that I had an issue with is the bathroom. My bathroom didn't have a mirror in it at all. So I had to buy a mirror. And because I'm so tall, I would have to like bend down and try to do like my skincare routine and everything in it. But yeah, it's just like I have friends that moved here that I mean, friends that live here, and they never had like this type of experience at all. And I just think that I had to take one for the team so I can get on this video 2 years later and tell my story. But overall, I think it gives me the knowledge to share this and things I went through to share with other people, if they're going through it or they want to avoid going through it. Make sure that elevator work. And it still doesn't work to this day. So the contractors built the elevator legally. This is a kicker. They built it illegally. So if the elevator were to run, the elevator from the vibrations and everything, it would disconnect from the wall and it will fall on the house, the apartments right next to mine. Yeah. So the people are building a case. I'm supposed to like be a representative on the case because I lived in the apartment. So I know like everything that's going on from that, the poor, the quality of like the marble in the kitchen because you put something on it and like it severely like degrades. It's like all grainy. Um, no, so Jan, Portugal is nice. Don't I would say that nowhere is perfect, but if you're looking for somewhere for a quality of life, peace of mind, cost of living, Portugal is definitely there. I lived in Mexico, I lived in Japan. Um, it's not bad at all. You just have to come here and visit. Portugal is not for everyone. I get that. Just like Mexico's not for everyone, Japan's not for everyone. But it's definitely worth the visit. And the community is great here, like hands down. Community is great. But this could happen anywhere. I've had a similar situation in Mexico when I was visiting before we moved. I had a situation, and I just think that I had to be the sacrificial lamb for it. But it didn't take away from me not loving Mexico. I mean, I didn't like Playa del Carmen, that's why I moved to Merida. But it was good though. Um, yeah, so Japan, oh man, I love Japan. It's a beautiful, beautiful, peaceful country. Of course, racism exists everywhere all over the world, but I would say that we were working on our Japanese residencies right when COVID hit. So clearly, we didn't end up going to Japan because Japan was on lockdown for like 3 years. And yes, it really was. It was just like a really crappy situation with my living condition because I really loved that apartment. And I actually did a YouTube video, which I need to edit um, and upload at some point of some of the apartments I looked at and me moving and like doing the process. But I've been like extremely, extremely, extremely busy because life has me doing 1,001 things. Um, but yeah, so that's about it. That was my story. If you guys have any questions, definitely leave in the comment section. I know these comments will be up here for forever, and then I would definitely address them. Also, I will be going live again next week. I think I'm going to try to go live twice a month on Tuesdays, or try to commit to every Tuesday go live, like a Talk Tuesday, because I could do lives faster than I can record a YouTube video and then edit it and update it. Yes, Mayor Mia. Yeah, Lisbon is nice. So I'll be talking about dating stories between Mexico and Portugal. Very interesting. It's like a tell all. So if you guys definitely want to hear about this, don't set your I guess your settings, subscribe settings or notifications so you don't miss it. It'll be the same time, 9 p.m. on next Tuesday. Also, for those that are wanting to visit Lisbon, I recently wrote an ebook. It's called The Journey into Lisbon's Heart. It's pretty much everything about Lisbon, things to do, places to see, what to eat, where to stay. Also, day trips from Lisbon. I also included 3 of my Google Maps collection. One of them is what all is included in the book. The second one is my list of recommendations of food and drink, which I update daily. And also, I have a ongoing list of Black-owned establishments in Lisbon. If you're curious about that, I will definitely drop the link to my Gumroad account in the description area after this video is over. And lastly, if there's any type of content you guys want me to make or cover, definitely let me know because I'm sure you guys are tired of my day in the life. And yeah, so thank you all for watching. Um, yes, thank you, Jay. I'm glad you found a place that fits both you geographically and for your own. Yeah, it's wherever you're at peace. Life is too short not to be at peace. And I think anywhere outside the US, you can find that peace, just not in the US for me, because it's just not it's just dangerous and the climate is just really, really, really bad, the political climate. And yes, I'll be looking forward to you tuning in. Mayor Maya Entertainment. Dating here has been funny. Yes, I have some stuff on my Instagram on my dating, but there are some stories that I haven't shared. And it might be good. So I'm going to get off of here. I need to call my mom. I have some more work I need to do. And thank you guys for watching. And I hope to catch you guys on my next video live. All right. Bye.